Hey, my friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Allie Wilkins. If it's your first time here, welcome. I'm a teacher of the Ancient Feminine. I'm an oracle. I work in the Akashic Records, and I'm an author and a mentor also. Just mostly my focus is really amplifying the soul blueprint within each of us so that we can be living our life from really our highest soul essence, doing what we're here to do, being who we're here to be, all of that. So all my work is really around that. And the topic today is it your anxious attachment, or are they just not a fit for you? I think this is a really important conversation because I know a lot of us are really into personal development. We want to be the best version of ourselves that we can. And in terms of romantic relationship, a lot of us have looked at attachment styles and where do I fall on the attachment style list. The interesting thing is that I think a lot of us put ourselves and generalize ourselves in one category, but you will have different attachment styles with people who show up with you differently. So I think a lot of us are saying we have an anxious attachment, but it's actually just a certain type of person that we have been attracted to. And then we label ourselves with that, and it gets us into dangerous situations because those of us who want to be the best version of ourselves, we're often doing a lot of work on ourselves. We're aware of how we show up, right? And I got caught in this question of, or in the situation of a few different people just basically not showing up and meeting basic standards. And instead I was like, oh, this is my wounding. This is my anxious attachment. Let me just work on this. It's not them, it's me. Let me improve my energy, which there's value to that, right? There's value to looking at how is it that I'm contributing to this situation, because we always are. But it might just be the other person. There are biological responses if someone is being inconsistent, if they're not doing what they say they're going to do. That is going to make someone naturally more anxious. It's not because that person has all this sort of wounding and trauma. It's because that person is showing up in a way that your nervous system is going to respond that way. If you have a friend, for example, who did that, you wouldn't be like, oh, I'm so anxious with my friends, right? So there's value in understanding the attachment styles for sure, but I think we give them a little bit too much. Sometimes I think we can give them a little bit too much weight, and we have to look at, is the person that I'm engaging with amplifying that? And without making anybody wrong, which is easier said than done, without making anybody wrong, how can we look at, is this person a good fit for what I actually need? So for example, if you think you have an anxious attachment, maybe it's just that you desire someone to do what they say they're going to do. Maybe it's just that you desire someone to be very committed to you. Maybe it's just that you desire someone to have good communication skills, and it's not necessarily that you're this super anxious freak who is so clingy. You're just asking for someone to have basic relational skills with you, and you've been engaging with people who don't necessarily have that. All that means, we can take this as insight and as directive to say, okay, I need to raise my standards to date people who have emotional intelligence at a basic level, to date people who respond to my texts, to date people who don't ghost me, to date people and to engage with people in my life who do what they say they're going to do, who are respectful, right? Who are loyal. It might not be you are so wounded and this is everything to do with your childhood, and now let me pick apart all my childhood. It might be more to do just with the fact that you're accepting behavior from people that is not going to be supportive for you. The body has natural responses. So, for example, if you slam the brakes on your car, your heart is probably going to start beating a little faster. That's not a trauma response. That's a natural biological response to your body sensing danger, right? And I think that we're getting these things mixed up. And I'm going to be talking a lot more about this on my Instagram page, specifically at Ancient Feminine. about how we need to raise our standards in partnership a whole lot. And I would say mostly as women, but like men watching this might also agree. You might be dealing with women who are engaging in some of these same behavior patterns that I see a lot of men operating with. It's not across the board. This is an energetic thing. So whether you're a man or woman or however you identify watching this will probably apply to you if you're attracted to my energy. So, um, we have to create higher standards for ourselves and pay attention to our body's biological responses to something. And I think that it's great when we take the initiative to look at how is it that I'm contributing or creating to this, but I don't think that it's always necessarily our trauma. So looking at, is the person that I'm engaging with in a romantic way, are they meeting the basic criteria that I would have for my friends? And this is interesting when you like think about this question, because I know two people I've dated, it's like hard no. I would never engage with someone who is like this as a friend. I wouldn't tolerate that. So why do I tolerate it in a romantic relationship? Because there's feelings that have developed that override the basic standards of what I require in any sort of relationship. We have to start looking at where we are dropping the ball on the like prerequisites to be able to be in your life, right? I require my friends, for example, to be able to hold a lot of depth, to be able to open up and be vulnerable with me. I expect my friends to have a certain level of maturity and communication skills. So the qualifications that I have for my friends it should be even more for a romantic partner because they're getting even more of me, right? And one of the things that I just want to share from an experience I had, I'll put this video up in the top. It's called Dating a Covert Narcissist, What to Expect. This is one of the situations where I really realized it is not me, it's him. And this was after I spent a long time caught in this um, tumbleweed thing of like, it's me. I'm the one causing it's my abandonment issues. I'm pushing him away because I'm being too like I'm getting upset when he doesn't do what he says he's going to do, or I'm getting upset when he isn't communicating well and I'm pushing him away because of that. No. So one of the things that I noticed after all of that experience was that my body was responding with anxiety. So my yoga teacher said it this way, and I thought it was interesting. She was saying people who are typically like slower paced, more chill, calmer in nature, their tendency would be to become more like depressive. And people who are like go, 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 can't sit still, don't want to sit down and just like be still with their thoughts. Um, those people tend to have more anxiety. And I hadn't heard that before. I thought that was really interesting. I'm definitely the first one. And so for me, anxiety is not a natural thing for me to feel. Like it's abnormal kind of for me to feel an overwhelming sense of anxiety. And so in response to to this person's behavior, I was having enormous amounts of anxiety. And I was like, man, my anxious attachment is really acting up. But later I can see that was my body's biological response of like, this is a hard no. What do you not understand about this? It's a no. Move on. It's stop. Why are you tolerating this? So also think about that for yourself. Like, how is your body naturally responding to someone? So just a couple of things to consider of like, is it my anxious attachment or are they just not a good fit for me? If you have any other thoughts, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Any other pieces of advice you'd like to add to this conversation for people to read through, or anything else you want to share about like what you're realizing or recognizing. I think that it's really just a matter of us raising our standards. Just think about what are the standards for my friends in my life. And the person that I'm dating in my life has to be able to match that plus more. Where have I lowered my standards because um I've sacrificed something that's actually important to me for the sake of love or for the sake of this feeling I have with this one person? Where am I sacrificing other values? And what is my body's response to that? Do I become clingy? And here's the really interesting thing, and I'll just close with this. I've dated not a ton of people, but I was in a really long relationship, and then I've dated two other people since then. And each of them were so different. In my first relationship I was not anxious. Like maybe I was a little bit more of that tendency of the anxious attachment as opposed to avoidant, but it was like a pretty secure attachment for both of us. but it's because he showed up in a certain way with me. He had a certain basic emotional intelligence and respect and maturity, right? And so I think a lot of us who are labeling ourselves as anxiously attached are just dealing with people who don't have this basic level of maturity and communication skills. So it triggers anxiety, and then we're like, I'm so anxious. The universe is like, oh my God, no, you're not. You're just dealing with someone who's making you feel that way. And I will put a caveat here that no one can make us feel any certain way, right? We are responsible for ourselves. We are the creators of our life. We are choosing who gets to be in our life. So if I had a friend who was like flaky all the time and late all the time and like didn't respond to me all the time and stuff, I might not let that person get super close to me because it would be annoying, right? The thing is too with our friends, we're not as attached to them. Like for the most part, there's not going to be as much of a emotional attachment that there will be with a romantic partner to some extent, right? So they might be varying situations there or like a little bit different in flavor, you could say. Um, but would you tolerate whatever you're dealing with this person you're dealing with if it was from a friend? That will give you your answer really, really quick if it's an anxious attachment or if they're just not a good fit. So, yeah, share anything else you would like in the comments or any revelations or ahas you've gotten from this. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That lets more people see it. Um, and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this sort of content. And yeah, if you want more, you can go to alliewilkins.com. I have all sorts of courses and offerings and books and one-on-one sessions and mentorship and all sorts of ways that you can work with me if you'd like. And you can see more on the next slide here. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye.